Hi Fools, and welcome to another video from the Motley Fool. I'm Owen Benelak, and today I'm going to talk about Santander. Santander is a Spanish bank, but that doesn't really mean anything because it's a global bank. It's a massive kind of globe-spanning bank, I guess the equivalent in the UK. Maybe HSBC, they operate in slightly different territories, but the point is Spain is a small part of the business, but it is considered a Spanish bank. Now, we've heard a lot over the years about how Spain has been in trouble, and Santander's exposure in Spain certainly has suffered. You might be surprised that it hasn't kind of continually gone back to the market with its begging bowl out, asking for more cash. Well, firstly, it doesn't need to because it has other profitable kind of sub-banks around the world, particularly in Brazil. But also it has actually been raising money in a kind of sneaky fashion. And I'll explain what it's been doing and why I think you can actually take advantage of it. What it has done is it has increased its share count. Now, it did this initially by doing a rights issue in 2008. It stunned the market at the time. The headline said things like, and I know because I just checked, Santander stuns the market because it raises worries about the Spanish, economic system. Because in 2008, of course, we didn't know what was coming, and that kind of increased the share count by about, I think, 30%. Been steady for years until then. It went up by 30%. But since then, it has continued to issue more shares by its scrip dividend. Now, a lot of investors have been attracted to Santander, despite or perhaps oblivious to the crisis, because it's had this 10% yield. But in fact, in 2012, for instance, 80% of Santander shareholders actually elected to get their dividend as more shares. So instead of getting cash, you get more shares. Instead of cash, more shares. Over time, this has continued to increase the share count by a further 20%. So over time, that means it has raised its share count, the total number of shares, claims on the business, effectively, by 65% from pre-crisis levels to today. So effectively, it's raised a lot of money. Now, that sounds terrible, but to put it into context, RBS has increased its share count by tenfold. So Santander is doing a lot better than that. And personally, I think it's actually not a bad way to get your dividend. It's what I've been doing. It means you avoid paying Spanish withholding tax. You keep getting more and more shares in the business, which I personally think will come good again. And then eventually, I suspect they'll turn off the scrip dividend option, or maybe they'll start buying back shares, and the share count will stabilise, and they won't have had to do any kind of dilutive rights issues. We'll have a bigger bank, stronger bank, and probably a cash generative bank, which will pay you a proper dividend again. So that's kind of its sneaky way around the whole problem.